All right, guys, welcome back to the next episode of the Grand Prairie PD podcast. I'm your host, Nate, here with Katie.
Yes, sir.
And today we are talking with Officer Ash.
Yes, sir.
It'll be another good one because I have absolutely no idea anything about you.
And I know a lot about you.
Do you?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I kind of know you guys a little bit, so we'll get through it. We'll figure it
That
out.
was ominous. All right, first thing, next
ahead.
civil service test, May 18th.
Yes, so go online as you do with a personal history statement. It's only 800 pages long. Start now. You have it done by May 18th. Also, grandprairiepolice.org. Get online. Check out some jobs. We need help. A lot of departments, but like dispatch. What else?
Detention.
Detention. Yes. We don't say jail around here. It's a naughty word. Detention. So check them out. And I believe we still have the program where if you work in detention, you can.
2 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
2 years for detention if you want to avoid, if college is not for you, like it was not for me. Do detention for a couple years and come work over
Hey,
at
it
PD.
was for me. I went to all the parties.
Yes.
All right. So, Officer Ash.
Yes, sir.
All right. If you sign up for one of my off-duty jobs again, we're going to have problems.
We're always going back and forth, back and forth.
This is how I figured out who he was. I was like, oh, let me sign up. Ash. I was like, this.
I think we just need to come to an agreement. It's like, hey, you take odd Sundays, I'll take even Sundays. Like, we'll figure
I
it
mean,
out.
no incentive for you. It sounds like it's working out in your favor.
Yeah. But no, I've known him for a little while now. And bro, I haven't been over there it's been a while.
The church?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been a while. But
Where y'all work?
RCCG, one of the churches off of I-20. Yeah.
I was there this past Sunday.
Yeah.
But
Still
yeah.
chill and
Yeah, still the same gig. It's good.
yeah. All right, so let's jump right in.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How
Oh
you went up
man.
here?
Well, where do I start? So I grew up
Not
not
too
too
early.
far. Yeah, it all started when I was born. No. So I grew up in the Garland area, so not too far from here.
Cool.
It's kind of funny because what I knew of Grand Prairie was Lockheed Martin because that's where my dad worked.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So I knew Grand Prairie existed for that reason, but other than that, I didn't know anything about Grand Prairie. So
Yeah.
my perception of this side of the Metroplex, I grew up east of Dallas, so I knew that area pretty well. But over here, it was like you had the Rangers, you had Six Flags, the Cowboy Stadium wasn't even built yet. So
Right.
that's what I knew. Like I didn't realize that Arlington was its own city outside of that.
Well, in
And,
fairness, it's not too far off. I mean,
Hey,
that's
watch
pretty
it,
much all
watch
it
it.
is,
15
right?
15 years back, that's really all there was. I mean, you had
Yeah.
Garland and Mesquite, and that whole area was real built up. And, I mean, you look around outside our station right now, I mean, even 10 years ago, it was all grass.
Yeah.
Right.
It was
I mean, it's
fields.
exploded lately. So I was the same way. I had no idea about any of it.
Yeah, where'd you grow up?
I grew up out east.
Out east,
not out
okay.
east, but like East Texas-ish.
Yeah.
But my mother-in-law lived in Grand Prairie, and so I didn't know Grand Prairie existed north of 20.
Yeah.
So like when I had a friend that worked over here was trying to get me to come over for my last apartment. I was like, no, I'm not going to go work in that city. I'll be bored. Because the only thing I knew about it was it's a very small, pretty nice area.
Yeah.
And then I came on my ride along, and I was like, oh, there's a whole.
Then you saw 10 sector, and you're
Exactly.
like, oh,
We went
yeah.
16 beat, and I was like, yeah. We went to 16 beat, and I was like, oh, I can do this.
Yeah.
Feels like home.
Yeah.
I was born in Nacogdoches, so.
Wait.
okay.
Little
By
familiar with East
Lufkin?
Texas. Yeah, I was actually born in Lufkin. Or no, I was born in Nacogdoches, but my family lived in Lufkin. So,
All right, because I'm from Lufkin.
you're from Lufkin, really?
Yeah.
I never meet people from Lufkin.
Yeah.
Yeah, my family's from Louisiana, so
All right.
I was the first generation to be in Texas, long term. So,
Very nice. What part of Louisiana?
all over, mostly North Louisiana.
Okay.
My mom's from Alexandria area,
Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
so
Pretty area.
yeah, I got a lot of family out there still, though.
Cool.
So.
Yeah, I don't actually know much about Louisiana except that we drive through, and but New Orleans is one of my absolute favorite places.
I love
to
New
go.
Orleans, yeah.
Yeah, whenever we have a
Don't feel the same
Why?
way.
No, I've never been. So I'm just.
shut.
It's a cool place.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, man. When I in my mind it was nothing but like spring break Mardi Gras, and so I was like, I don't know, and my mother-in-law was like, we'll take the kids out there, and I was like, I'm not gonna take the kids out there like doing body shots and enough people and stuff. Like, no. And when we got there, and like within the first little bit we were there, I saw that Spanish mission. that I was like blown away. Like, yeah, this has been here longer than this has been America.
Yeah, yeah.
And then just kind of deep dove into history and everything. I was like, yeah, no, it's awesome. We always have fun when we go.
Okay, TikTok
town.
doesn't help New Orleans then.
Yeah, I
'Cause
believe that.
I see all the crazy stuff online. It's like, wait, I don't want to go there.
Well,
oh yeah, if you go
it's
down
probably
this
like
alley,
two
you see-
blocks in the French
I know,
Quarter.
Yeah,
There is crazy stuff, yeah. I mean, you want to avoid parts. If you go down there, you're gonna see a little bit of everything. It's
Yeah.
like kind of like Las Vegas. You know, you go to Vegas, it's like there's some fun parts. There's other parts that you're like, I don't know about that. It's kind of similar, but there's more history. So that's the good part.
It is really cool. And the cool thing about it was like even the French Quarter, the party areas, when you're just walking on the street, it's that very old style of architecture. So you almost feel like you're like in an old like pirate movie or something where it's really like that. You know, your alleys are that big, they're pitch black, and you got the little arch doorways. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, you don't feel like you're in the States.
Not at all.
It's like, yeah.
See, I'm going to eat. I mean, I hear of
Oh, yeah,
all,
like you do that
all
for
that
sure.
food, man. Listen, I don't. How they're not fat people over there? I'm just.
Yeah.
Well, you know, like everybody
like
should be
a-
walking around. 'Cause I would just go in one restaurant, come out, and I'm gonna try this food and that food, and
Yeah, the food's the reason to go, really.
Yeah.
The food's so good. That's
Yeah.
my favorite part.
and the music. See, then I end up on TikTok because I'd be out in the street dancing and with a cup in my hand.
Yeah.
And we were out there one time, and our first time out there, and I think we were doing, because we're getting up in age, so we go out, we have a couple drinks, some food, like let's go back to the hotel, take us a nap, maybe we'll go out later. And actually, this was the second time, so we didn't have the kids, so we go back to the hotel. And as we're walking back, there's like people start yelling and shit, but you know how it is, like you never know what's going on. And we get in the hotel, we nap, wake up, turn on the news, and it was a shooting, like a police shooting.
Oh, wow.
In the middle of some guy tried to drive his car into the area and blasted him. And like, oh crap! Well, I guess that's shut down for the night, and we'll find something else to do. So we leave the hotel and go walking, and no, it's cleared out. They finished up their investigation, took the tape down. They're like, all right, y'all open back up, go back
They're
to
like, hey,
drinking.
this is just a random Thursday. Like, this is nothing
I was
new.
like,
Come on,
oh
y'all.
dang!
That was fast.
Yeah, but had a great rest of the night.
Yeah, get the water hose, spray out the
Hey, clean up the
streets.
street
We're
real
good.
quick.
Yeah, those are really
Zydeco,
cool.
baby. All right. Well then.
Yeah, so New Orleans has nothing to do with you. Sorry.
Yeah.
Every time someone's like, yeah, I'm from Louisiana, I'm like, dude, I love New Orleans.
You're like, well, yeah. No, that's what people think of.
Yeah.
I mean, half the country says Louisiana's like the worst, most boring state, and the other half the country loves it. I feel like
I
people
love
who
it.
don't like it, it's like uncultured. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it.
So you're saying I'm cultured.
Yeah, I'd say you're cultured.
Sweet.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
The first time I went, first thing I noticed about it was that I used to dip, and my dip prices went down by like 50%.
Oh, yeah?
And then I had never had Yingling beer, and we were at I forget where we were, but they had it on tap, and it was like $2. I was like, yeah, I'll try that, and because everybody else was drinking it, and it blew my mind. Of course, now it's no big deal because you can get it here too. But I had it like 4 or 5 years ago, and I was like, we have got. I felt like I was trying to spread the gospel. I was like, like, y'all have not heard of Yingling? It's amazing.
You get this here now.
And now it's here, yeah.
Yeah.
And they still charge like 3 times what they charge for in Louisiana.
It's like Texas inflation, you know. It's
Yeah.
just a little bit exaggerated.
Yeah, well, they say it's bigger and better.
They say it's bigger.
So high school in Nacogdoches or
No, so I grew up most of my life over in this area in DFW. So
okay.
yeah, I went to junior college here as well in
Where?
in Dallas at Richland.
Richland.
It's over in like the part of Dallas where like Dallas, Garland, and Richardson all come together.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So it's like barely in Dallas.
Yeah.
It's pretty much like right next to Richardson.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I went to school there for 3 years. It ended up being 3 years because I started while I was still in high school, and then I went to A&M. Graduated from A&M in 2019. That's where I got my bachelor's at. So
when you become, I guess first, did you always know you wanted to be a cop, or?
no, I wasn't really that guy actually. I was kind of I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I had some different ideas and stuff, but I didn't really look into law enforcement until I got out, or I would say my senior year in college is when I started like looking at it.
Oh wow! What did you get your degree in?
Geography.
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 What was
yeah.
the plan there?
Yeah.
Well, you know, it helped when I
Over
was
there.
on.
No, just
It helped when I was on FTO. My FTO was like, "All right, you know, don't look at the map. Get us over here to 15 feet. No, I'm just kidding.
Really?
Bro, look, you had me. I'm going like,
sense.
what the hell?
No, it had nothing to do with that.
With a specialization in DFW.
It was more because I was in a program called the Corps of Cadets. It's like a senior military program at A&M.
Okay.
And so it was that's really what I was going there for. And then the degree, I'd started out in a different degree. It didn't work out very well. So I found that.
Let's talk about it. Yeah, wait.
Engineering.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Crap.
He's not a math guy?
I'd say I'm above average at math, but not at that level.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could never. Oof.
Yeah, I didn't like it. But I found this degree and I ended up loving it. So I was like, I might as well just study that.
Nice.
And
was it a lot of the history behind the geography, or was it just strictly like geographic
Places,
formations,
yeah.
that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so like at a collegiate level, geography is a lot more about, there's multiple facets to it, and there's different types of geography. So for example, like my, I guess you could call it specialty that my degree was in was human geography. So it has a lot to do with like cultures and how they vary dependent on geographic regions.
Or like a sociological perspective?
Yeah, there's part of that. It's kind of like looking at what changes culture based on terrain and
gotcha. See, I could do that. That'd be interesting.
It was cool. It was cool. I enjoyed it. The other side to it is what you call physical geography, and that's probably what you think of when you think like high school level geography.
Right.
And I took a bunch of classes in that, but that's not what my focus was on.
Gotcha.
So
Now the Corps of Cadets, that's kind of like a little, isn't it?
yeah, it's a
Okay. What? So as someone, I've seen them marching around.
That. We don't mean that.
I've seen them marching around and whatnot, but I have no idea about them whatsoever. So
you wore tan
Are you
pants?
allowed to explain what in the world they are?
No, it's all like top secret. I can't talk about any of it. Otherwise, somebody come after me. So I'm just kidding.
The Illuminati.
Leonard picked a winner.
But no, it's A&M is a cult in general. That's the rap that we have as Aggies.
Okay, didn't know that.
Yeah, everybody says that A&M's a cult. It's really not a cult, but it's different than other schools. It's very I don't know. People are proud to go to A&M. You know what I mean? So I like that side of it. The Corps is like the deepest part of A&M, if you will. Okay. No, I wouldn't even say that, but
like it's the deep state.
It's like the deep state. Yeah, exactly. But so A&M started out as a purely military college back in this was literally in the 1800s.
Really?
Yeah, and let me think. So around I think 1876 is when the university was founded, and it was all military. So you had the service academies like West Point, and then you had schools like A&M. So we actually existed before we call them TU. Most people call it UT, University of Texas.
Gotcha.
We existed before UT. And then the rivalry started once UT became a school, then there was this rivalry between A&M and TU, as we call it.
Gotcha.
But anyway, so eventually it became integrated to where it was no longer military, but they kept the Corps.
Okay.
So
whenever you're in the Corps, I mean, you said you did not go military?
I didn't, no, sir.
So there's no expectation that you...
No, you can go either way.
Okay, cool.
Most of my friends did. So got really tight with the guys I joined with. We were all in the same unit and stuff throughout the whole time we were there, and most of them did end up going in the military. I'm one of the few that didn't. So it's up to the person.
Did you wear those pants that stick out on the side?
Yeah. They man, what do they call those? I guess they're riding pants, but yeah, I wore those and the tall boots and everything. It makes you look like you got big hips, basically, is what it looks like. Yeah,
like the old Austro-Hungarian type.
Yeah. Kind of like that. Yeah.
Almost like hammer pants.
That's
just
stylish.
Squeeze down in the boots.
That's stylish, man. Yeah.
So how did being in the Corps change your college experience?
Oh man, it was excuse me, it was great. It was very unique compared to other college experiences, I think. I mean, I had a great time in college. The Corps is it just keeps you busy and you don't really get much out of it, truthfully, unless you're trying to go in the military or something.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But there's not much incentive. I had a small scholarship associated with that, but I mean, I probably could have found other ways of doing that. So
it's more of
it's more of the experience. Yeah.
But aren't y'all at every football game?
Oh yeah,
Then there you go. It's worth it.
But you still have to buy the sports pass though.
That sucks.
That's where they get you. Yeah, you still have to buy a sports pass. You're just required to go.
And you have to wear puffy pants.
But it's great though. I mean, I had a really good time. Best friends, my best friends in the world came from there.
Sure.
A bunch of really good guys, and it keeps you disciplined. It keeps you locked on. You can't really goof off when you're in the Corps. It's like if you do, you're not going to last very long. So
I would not have lasted long.
Well, they just gave me those 10 pans, and I'm like, I'm out.
you're like, I'm not putting that crap on. No.
I gotta look this up now.
Oh, we will.
If you don't like wearing khaki, then don't join the Corps. That's every day. Same outfit every day. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, you got to wear uniform to class and everything, so it gets old.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nah. That.
Yeah.
Just college was too rigid for me.
Really?
Yeah, I grew up pretty sheltered. Or not sheltered. I grew up sheltered.
Yeah, you
and
sheltered,
shut up. And not with a whole lot of opportunity to experiment with my own scheduling and whatever I wanted to do in life. And so when I went to college, that was too rigid for me as it was. Like I had to go to school at 8 a.m. Like that's gonna not work out very well so I just didn't go to school.
Where'd you go? Or where did you not go, rather?
Well, yeah, I went to Henderson State in Arkansas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. I had a great uncle that used to teach up there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I think my first semester GPA was like a .08 or something.
Oh, man.
Ironically enough.
That's tough.
Yeah.
No, that's easy. That's called just sit in the dorm room.
Yeah, no, that was great. Yeah, that was great.
That's
yeah.
tough by ass. Like,
Yeah.
but you won't go out tonight?
We all made it to the same place, though, so I guess it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
well, and
There
it
you
pissed
go.
me off a little bit because I was like, I'm not an idiot. Like, I am book smart in certain areas, but I'm also somebody I have to be interested in it. And like talking about like engineering or math, like they would tell me, hey, you have to go take this math class.
You're
No.
like, I'm majoring in domestic beer. Like, I don't need to worry about that.
I don't need that. Yeah, but all right. So you're at A&M. You're in the Corps of Cadets. You're approaching your senior year. What's the catalyst to make you start leaning towards law enforcement?
Man, a lot of it had to do with I didn't really know what I was going to do with my life at that point. I guess no, like 21, 22-year-old does, to be honest. But
True. Look, true.
some people think they do, but we all have to kind of figure it out.
Yep.
So I knew I wanted to do something service-oriented. Like, that was kind of what I was being called towards. And I ended up talking with the former chief here, Steve Dye. So I got connected with him and had a conversation with him, and he pretty much recruited me, on the spot.
he's good at that.
I was convinced. Like, I left that conversation with him, and I was like, all right, like, this is what the plan is. Like, I'm going to finish school, put in my application.
Just
go
right
work
then
for
there after that one
GPPD.
conversation.
Yep.
Dang.
Yeah, he convinced me. He did a great job recruiting me.
Yeah,
so,
no, he is. He's good at that.
Yeah. So that's what got me here.
Okay.
So, did you leave? So when you joined the academy, what happened?
Yeah, so I joined the academy back in 2019,
All right.
and I was there for the majority of it. I want to say I was through like 80% of the academy. I ended up pursuing a different job opportunity that I had got in college.
Yeah, look, you see that smile? Stop right there. Why?
It was something that I thought I wanted to do. That was like it was on like a federal scale, and so I was like, hey, I want to go check this out. So. I had been looking at that for years. I'd been in an application process with that for years, and so I saw it as like I didn't think this was an opportunity I was going to have, but when it presented itself, I was like, oh, I'm going to jump on that. So I ended up having to leave because they told me that because I had to get like a week off or something to go do some processing with them, and they were like, dude, you're in the academy. Like, you can't just like leave for a week.
I need vacation.
You got
Put me down
TCOL
for
hours
vacation.
you gotta meet,
Right. Yeah.
So so I had to leave for that, and then I ended up kind of doing some odd jobs for the next 3 years, just figuring it out.
Trying to do this other job.
Well, yeah, I was in the process with them for I think another year or so.
Okay.
And then
hold on. Who is this that has you in the process for multiple years?
That's what
And
we're talking about.
that's how it works,
We'll call them the alphabet.
Yeah, it's
All right, we'll say the
it's slow. They move slow,
See, so multiple years, and then you quit this job to go there, but you still don't have a job with them yet.
Yes. And the frustrating thing about it is they were like, oh, well, you could have like rescheduled this processing and like till you got out of the academy. I was like, if I would have known that, then I would have done that, you know. But you know, I was young and ignorant, so to me it was like, oh, like they said I have to do this, so I got to do it. You know, I didn't really consider
when you're younger, you tend to think that everything's non-negotiable.
Exactly.
As opposed to in reality, almost everything is negotiable at some level.
Yeah,
like medical bills.
Yeah.
Like
Jesus Christ. Ignoring them does not make them negotiable.
Those are just suggestions, right?
Yeah, those are
you have to answer the phone to negotiate.
Oh man. Okay, so you left GP, went and did some things with the alphabet. So when did you come back?
I came back in, man, all these years are blurring together now. So let me think. That was 2022. Okay. Is when I came back and joined the academy again.
Oh crap! So you're a new cop.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm a baby cop still.
How old are you?
27 in a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Turn up. What we doing for your birthday?
Working.
Like any good young cop.
Yeah. Of course, working.
Yeah.
That's funny, man. So you were strictly post-COVID cop too.
Yes.
Ugh.
So my original class that I joined with, which was class 9, they joined, and then, you know, within months the pandemic started, so they were like thrown right into the middle of that. And it's funny because some of those guys are like my really close friends still. And so I came back, and they're, you know, they have 3 years of seniority on me, and it was just kind of funny. They let me keep my same badge number, which was nice.
Right.
I appreciated that because it's like that's the class that I came up with and like just kind of resonate with, so I got to keep that badge number, but I don't keep the seniority, obviously. So
True.
Yeah, that I felt bad for some of the guys. I think we've talked to a couple of them. But like they were in FTO when COVID happened, and they just shut down a lot of the proactive policing, and that honestly seemed to be a trend for an extended period of time. Because we'd get the shift reports, and you're looking at the number of traffic stops and subject stops and whatnot. And they're just low. I mean, insanely low. And it seems like looking at it now, it seems like we've kind of rebounded back to where you would expect things to be.
At least on nights A, right?
Right, yeah, which I am preferential to nights A, but
nights B all day.
Yeah.
Oh man, you're outnumbered at this point.
Yeah, you can only sit at IHOP for so long.
I would say check the stats, but we're not going to go there.
Oh yeah, we don't want to open that up.
I was going to say we can't.
We don't want to open that up
because we can pull up the stats from when I was there.
Shift reports from last week.
Be like, let's see if we can get to 200 traffic stops tonight. And y'all are over there like, we got 50 guys. Good job.
Whatever.
Hey, there's got to be competition, you know.
A healthy competition. Nothing wrong with that.
My classmate that I went through my last academy with, so there's only 2 of us that ended up, or that are still here, let's put it that way. Yeah. And just me and him, and he's on B side. So obviously we got to compete, you know. We're always talking crap about the different sides and stuff. So...
Yeah, I always heard the argument. Yeah, you go to B side, you have more time to do stuff. It's, you know, less call driven and whatnot. But like I said, I'm biased.
They just like to make themselves feel better.
I did 6 months over there.
Did you?
And I promptly went back.
Yeah. I haven't done any time over there, so I really have no right to talk crap. But you know,
I give you the permission.
It's part of it.
You've been blessed.
I had a question. I forgot what it was.
All right. When you find it, let me know. All right. So, are you a BJJ guy?
Man, it's hard to call myself that because I kind of not very good at BJJ. But
do you have a gi? Is that what it's called?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Then you're a BJJ guy.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. It's I'm kind of what actually happened. So you know how it's like part of the academy now.
Oh yeah.
So that's what got me into it. I had done some like martial arts before that, and I'd done a little bit of jiu-jitsu as like kind of integrated into other things, but I hadn't like. Well, so the gym that I currently go to and that the academy used to go to is Aloysio Silva's in Arlington, and it's associated with a gym called The Gym, which is an MMA gym.
Okay, I've been confused because I'd seen them online. And I was seeing a lot of crossover in personnel, but I've seen 2 different titles. I was curious what that dynamic was.
Yeah, so it's technically 2 gyms, but they work together because they share a building.
That makes sense.
So I was on the MMA side back then. This was like in 2019, like when I originally went through the academy and then came out and stuff. And Eric, the coach that's at Aloysio Silva's, you know, I'd interacted with him, and like he was good friends with one of my buddies, so like we had a lot of interaction, but I didn't train on his program. And on the MMA side, I had done a little bit of jiu-jitsu, but it was just kind of like you're doing some drills and things like that, not like true jiu-jitsu.
Right.
And so I didn't start with Eric until I started the academy, and then I started training jiu-jitsu with him.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, so I got into that. I've done martial arts pretty much my whole life, so I pretty much like dove right into that, enjoyed it.
What did you start with?
So I was Kung Fu Kenny back in the day, you know.
Kung Fu Kenny.
Yeah, I was Kung Fu Kenny.
There's some pain behind your eyes when you say Kung Fu Kenny.
Yeah, so it's kind of like traditional martial arts. It's more for show.
Sure.
You know, it's not like it's not what you see them doing in the UFC or anything.
Right. Yeah.
Like Bruce Lee type moves.
Yeah. Well,
Although,
I thought I was Bruce Lee. You know, that was
I actually went up watching a highlight the other day, but of Kung Fu fighters in the UFC. And I didn't know they existed because you have some guys like Machida, and I think a couple other ones who use karate primarily, but I had never seen anybody use Kung Fu.
Yeah,
and I honestly wouldn't know what Kung Fu looked like if I saw it. But they were showing some of these guys pulling out this wild crap, and every once in a while it was landing, and when it was devastating. But I was like, man.
That's the thing. A lot of the moves are kind of more flashy and less practical. So there's I don't know if you're familiar with Kevin Holland. He's a fighter from Fort Worth.
Yeah.
And he actually had a background in Kung Fu, so I love it every time he fights because Bruce Buffer will announce him and he'll be like, Kevin Holland, a Kung Fu fighter. And every time I hear that, it gets me every time.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
I did not realize that. I used to watch him back in the day.
So what's the difference between Kung Fu and karate?
So Kung Fu is a Chinese martial art.
Oh.
And the term Kung Fu actually is a lot more broad. So if you were talking like, so in Chinese, then that's not actually the correct term. So there are like different branches, I guess, that would be the appropriate term. Kung Fu is more like referring to martial arts in general.
Oh.
But when it's been Americanized, then taking those Chinese arts, it's kind of referred to as Kung Fu. So, for example, you have like Shaolin Kung Fu. You probably heard of that. So, like, that's one form. Or, like, Wing Chun is technically a form of Kung Fu.
Oh, I've heard it all of those.
So, yeah, Kung Fu is like a broad term.
I'm so lost right now. You said who?
It's like a broad term,
Wing
basically.
Chao?
Wing Chun, yeah.
Wing Chun.
That's what, I believe that's what Bruce Lee did.
Yeah.
Or what he started in, at least.
You know he's from Nacogdoches? No, I'm just playing.
I don't think so, man.
Got him.
You didn't. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching that thing the other day, and one of the first highlights they showed was this. They were fighting, and he did like a soccer side tackle, but just kicked the guy's shin. And I was like, that's Kung Fu. But then I showed it like 3 times, like how cool it was. Like, it looked painful, but
hey, Kung Fu is whatever you want it to be, you know.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah. If you say this is your Kung Fu, then you know.
Like,
nice. Did you ever compete?
In that, no, I didn't compete in that. It was more the school that I was at. It was more like fitness like oriented, I guess. Cool. Well, that's the direction it went. It didn't start out that way as much, but I was on the demo. We called it the demo team, and so we would go to these demonstrations at like colleges and like stuff like that. That was a blast. Like I had so much fun doing that. So it was just we'd do stunts and like stuff like that. That was a lot of fun.
At college.
I thought you would say demo. I was like, because I was kind of in a demo team too when I first started out, but it was more like, hey, stand here. I'm gonna beat the in front of all these guys.
You were the glorified Bob.
That's
right?
all it was. Yeah. They didn't make me pay, which is awesome, but I just got the ever-loving.
There you go.
That's funny.
Yeah. So that was fun. But it's obviously a lot different than the martial arts I do now because that, like I said, that is more like show. Yeah. And so I thought I could fight.
Oh, right.
But, I learned later in life that I could not, in fact, fight.
Right.
So
when did you learn?
Or the first time you tried?
Well, I actually sparred with a guy that did BJJ when I was in junior college still. So I was still, young. This is before I went to A&M.
Okay.
I sparred with a guy that did BJJ, and I absolutely got starched. Yeah. So it was like that's kind of what woke me up to it. Like, okay, this is different. And then I started kind of getting into watching UFC and things like that and learning more because, we thought we were hardcore.
Yeah.
So, that's just part of it. But
yeah, and the cool thing about jiu-jitsu is It depends. I mean, I would say it's a very honest sport because like if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You're gonna get. You can't go into a gym and be like, oh yeah, I've done this for X number of years. That's why like I never ever mentioned ever having done anything ever because like yeah, I tried it back in 2008, 2009, but then I didn't do it forever. So like I'm still gonna get my and you can't just go show up and fake it. There's variations to that too, though, I guess, because there's like if you take just a pure jiu-jitsu guy and try to get in a street fight, you're still liable to get your butt whooped because you're gonna expose your head and other things.
Yeah, true.
But of all the martial arts, it's definitely the most practical to what we do.
It works. Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
What was your background in?
Just literally getting kicked out of me.
Oh, okay.
I saw MMA pretty young. My dad was always interested in it when I was growing up, and then I was like, oh, I can be an MMA fighter. I think it was around the Chuck Liddell, Jeremy Horn era. And so I just Googled MMA and showed up to the gym, and I was like, I'm broke, but like I can pay like every other month, and I literally would just be a sparring dummy for his guys, and they would just beat my head in, and so I really didn't have a background. That's why when I show up to like our stuff, it's like I know a couple of things here and there, but like as far as an actual curriculum and like a structured way of learning, nothing at all.
I mean that is one of the quickest ways to learn, though. You know,
it is. Yep.
So
it's where I learned that because I played soccer growing up, so I could kick really hard, and so I kind of gravitated towards the kickboxing side. And but again, to anybody who's listening to this, very informally, don't come beat my. You can do it. But I learned the difference between kickboxing and boxing as far as like range goes. I was like, oh, I can kickbox. If I can kickbox, I can box, whatever. And I 12 hours later was waking up from a surgery on my face.
Yeah,
yeah, it's a very different animal.
I feel you. Yeah,
But it's fun though.
Yeah,
because the jiu-jitsu is everything, right?
Yeah, it's primarily
punching,
ground.
kicking, ground.
no, it's just ground pretty much.
Oh, it's just ground. Okay.
Except for combat jiu-jitsu, which was a thing I didn't know existed until super recently.
Yeah, that's like what they used to call it Vale Tudo in Brazil.
Is that what it is?
It's
Because
Vale
Vale Tudo
was like
had headbutts and
yeah, it was like the predecessor to MMA,
Right.
whereas like anything goes.
Yeah.
But you had people like the Gracies that went in and used jiu-jitsu, and like
Right.
it's kind of, I guess it's different than combat jiu-jitsu, but kind of same concept, I guess.
yeah, because in Vale Tudo, I mean, you were I don't know if they allowed like fish hooks or eye gouges or anything, but you were stomping, you were headbutting.
Yeah.
It was nasty stuff. Soccer kicks to the head.
Yeah.
Like the old Vanderlei Silva stuff. It was just wicked.
Yeah, it was a different animal back then. That's like the closest to street fighting you can get. Like people think MMA is, but MMA is a sport.
Yeah.
You know. So
Is it really? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I mean,
it's a legit sport.
yeah. So I get off of the sport aspect for a little bit. Notice you're wearing a wedding ring.
Yes, sir.
What's your family dynamic?
So just married, no
Okay.
kids yet. Hopefully we'll have some kids in the future, but right now it's just my wife and I. So we've been married for 2.5 years now,
Oh, very cool.
and it's just looking
So
great.
were you already a couple when y'all met, or
No, actually, so kind of funny how that worked out. So I met her in between. So you know how I talked about how I was in the academy and then left, and
And
all
then
that.
you quit.
Yeah, well, if you want to call it that.
took a break?
It took a break. I like that better. Yeah. An intermission.
Yeah.
So I met her during that time frame, like in
Okay.
between in the pandemic, and it's kind of funny because from the beginning I told her like, hey, this is like what I'm interested in, you know. So she was always aware that this was a possibility, and I'm lucky. Like the way it worked out was really good because I was let me think. Wow. Like I said, the years blur together. This had to be the same year I started the academy, so 2022. So we had been married for like a couple months. Like we had just recently got married. And I saw, because one of my buddies from my original class was like, hey, because he knew I was interested in coming back. So he's like, hey, we have a test coming up. And he told me like the date for the test. I can't remember. It was sometime in January. And so I talked to my wife about it. I was like, yeah, I think it's time. Like I'm going to take this test and try to get back in. She was supportive of it and everything, but there was I had some struggles with it that when I look back at it now, it was just like my pride getting in the way. So what it had to do with is like, well, I left to go try this other thing, And then now I'm coming back. Like I didn't feel that comfortable like showing my face. You know what I mean? I was just kind of like, hey, I'm the one that left. Like I don't feel right about this. My pride, my ego got in the way.
Kind of like the Reno 911 where they get the fake lottery tickets. Like, dude, you guys, I'm out.
It's the same thing.
Oh, it's the wrong ticket. Like I gotta stay.
yeah, same thing. But yeah, so I was kind of hesitant because of that, and I thought, hey, maybe it's not what I should do. Like maybe I should look at another department. But I knew I wanted to come to Grand Prairie because I had been exposed to Grand Prairie and I loved it here. Like I loved the culture and everything. So I knew I wanted to end up back here, but I was kind of battling that with myself. So the day of the test comes, and it's funny because I wake up in the morning, ready for the test, and I told my wife, I was like, I'm not going to do it. And she's like, what do you mean? And I was like, I don't think I can show my face there again right now. I was like, maybe with some more time or whatever, it'll work out. But, maybe I need to wait a little bit longer, keep doing the job that I was doing at the time. Yeah. Or maybe I need to go try out a different department or something. And my wife said to me, she's like, you can make whatever decision you want to make, but I'm going to drive you to the test. She was like, I'm going to drive you to the test. And if you decide you want to go up and take the test, then take the test. If we get there and you're, there parked in front of the school or whatever, and you don't want to do it, then, that's your choice. And so when I look back at it now, I'm like, I probably wouldn't have come back, at least not when I did, if it wasn't for her. Yeah. So whenever people ask about, hey, how supportive is your wife of this and stuff, I'm like, man, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my wife.
Too supportive. She doesn't give me a choice.
Shout out to Miss Ash. My wife would have been like, let me show you some bills. I'm like, I don't want to show my face. Let me show you some bills.
There you go. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a good
medical.
Not those. We don't worry about
those. Those don't count.
Ignore those. Yeah, put those to the side. We don't pay those.
Oh man.
So whenever y'all met, were you still trying to work for the bad guys?
I like how you put that. Yeah. I was.
So she was cool with the idea of moving all over, and
she knew it was going to be something that most people would run away from.
Right.
Yeah, she was always kind of knowing. One thing that's great about my relationship with my wife is she's always known, we've always known each other. So I've always been straight up with her about who I am and what I'm interested in, and she's done the same thing. So we've always just respected that, which is nice. But yeah, I was still in the process for that. I was doing a different job. I was doing a government contracting job at the time, which was a good job. It was a really good job.
Yeah.
But I just knew it wasn't what I was looking for.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah. So no, go ahead. If y'all, you said you're thinking about the kiddos, you're nights, right? When do you think you're gonna be eligible to go to days?
I don't know, but I told Samantha about that. I was like, I'm probably gonna be on nights for a while.
Because be careful.
Yeah, because I love nights. Yeah. That's what I feel like. You can do a lot of good police work at night. So
yeah, I did. I went to Days B for a shift or for a bid, and that was not for me. So I went back to Nights A before I took my current job. But as the kids are getting older, kids are addicted to my schedule now. Yeah. So it's kind of throw the idea out there going back to nights, and she's like, hell no.
Yeah. So I'll probably stay on nights for a while. Keep that momentum going, and then when the time comes to switch to something else, it'll probably be a long time down the road. So
yeah. Okay. What are your what are your aspirations, or what do you? Anything you have in mind in particular? I know you're probably happy where you're at, but as far as I might be interested in this down the road.
Well, one thing that I love about this career is that there's so many options. Yeah. It's not the kind of thing. I feel like a lot of things you get locked into one avenue, and that's what you're going to do. Right. So that's one thing I love about this career is you can be on patrol for a while and then become a detective or join a special unit. There's just so much lateral movement available. That's exciting to me. So part of me just wants to kind of keep the horizons open and just see what comes available when it does, and when I feel like I've had enough experience on one thing, maybe move to the next. There's obviously things I'm interested in, but truthfully, I love patrol. So I feel like I'm gonna feel the patrol thing out for a while, and feel like I get some good experience. I'm confident with where I'm at. hopefully I'll become an FTO someday. That's kind of a goal of mine.
Cool.
And I think at that point, when I'm at the point where I know that I can confidently teach somebody else to be a patrol officer, then at that point I'll probably be like, okay, I think I may be ready after a few years of doing that. I may be ready to kind of open the horizon to something else. But
being an FTO definitely helps you. I think helps you become a better officer.
I can
And
imagine
it really exposes weaknesses in yourself that you probably won't even realize you have until you're sitting down with somebody else and they're looking at you, kind of like being a parent. You're like, yeah, I'm a decent and squared away individual until your kid walks into Sunday school and says, you're like, oh,
That's my stuff.
I know where he learned that.
Yeah, kind of the same thing. You see your rookie do something and then you're like, what are you doing? You're like, I saw you do it. It's like, oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that makes sense. I had some really good trainers. So
Yeah.
I'm fortunate. I had some guys that I feel like really set me up as FTOs. Like they put me on the right path. They, taught me to have the right kind of attitude and enthusiasm about the job and like that. I'm just thankful for that.
Who was it?
Demo was one of them. Demo was one of my top FTOs on
Was
nights.
he just talking loud in the car?
The whole time, 12 hours, the whole time. This dude did
Demo, I
not let
love
up.
you, bro. But you are the loudest dude I know. Jesus.
Spending 12 hours in a squad car with that guy was tough.
That's
That was tough.
I never thought about how loud he was.
Oh, bro. At 5 in the morning,
talk to
he
him all the
comes
time.
in. Everybody's like, hey, good morning, good morning. Hey, KD, what's going on? Nothing now. My ears hurt.
He can't modulate his voice.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, he's
I don't know.
100.
I think he got hit in the head or something. And
He is 100.
I've never thought about that.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I think you'll be a good FTO.
yeah, someday. I need some years of experience under my belt, so it's not anything I'm gonna do soon. But at some point,
Sure.
once I get some more experience, it's a goal.
Do you feel like you're still a rookie, though? Like some people say rookies are up until a certain year. Like, do you consider yourself a rookie?
I would say I'd consider myself a baby cop. So
Baby cop.
once I got off probation,
toddler.
yeah, let's go with that. Once I got off probation and I got through that first year and stuff, I feel like technically I'm not a rookie anymore, but I still don't know what I'm doing. So, take it how you will.
It depends on the shift too. I mean, 'cause, our old department, dude, you were a rookie for
5
years and years
Yep.
and years.
5 years.
But even here on the shifts, your nights A is such a young shift.
Yeah.
You'll get, oh yeah, guy's been around for a minute and it's 18 months, 2 years. Then you go to days A, at least the old days A.
Yeah.
It's
40 years.
yeah, I mean, you literally have guys on the shift that have 40 plus
40
years
years. Yeah.
working.
Where did you guys work before?
Dallas.
Dallas.
Both of y'all came from Dallas?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Don't hold it against us. No, it was good. It was just, a big department. You talking
Yeah.
about 3,000 officers? That is a huge department. So I've never seen them because there were seven stations.
Seven stations, yeah.
Were y'all around
Plus
the same
downtown.
time frame, or?
Yeah, we worked at the same time. I think you were hired on before I did. 'Cause I started the academy in 11. But then, I worked south. I trained Central, worked Southeast, and then was on some downtown task forces before I left. And you were South Central?
Yeah, South Central. And I rode bikes over there. So you're
Nice.
talking about fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why I always tell people, and they'll edit all this out, I'm sure, but that's why I always tell people about finding a department that fits you, which is, you didn't realize it probably, but sticking with the one that you knew you had, you vibed well with. Because two of my brothers right now are on Dallas, and they're still they're enjoying it, but they're doing that type of policing that we did when we were in Dallas from the patrol perspective, where it's you just answer calls. If you talk to my brother about doing traffic stop stuff, it's just not something he has the opportunity to do.
Yeah.
And when my personality doesn't mesh well with that, whereas his personality, he enjoys the hell out of it. So it's two complete different, the same environment, but depending on who you are, it's either going to work out great for you or not at all.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then I broke rules to get around doing that type of work and got in trouble.
So I always laugh when they say, "Oh, we have a lateral officer, but they're not doing traffic stops." You got to really understand the nature of where they come from, because if you go to third watch over there, it's traffic stops. You actually got in trouble for doing traffic stops.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Because if you're doing
That's
them,
so different.
you've got disturbances and stabbings.
Yeah,
or
you
whatever
got
else.
all that holding.
Right.
Those calls
That
are
makes
holding.
sense.
So if you stop and go, yeah, I'm gonna take this guy on this warrant.
Yeah.
Sergeant need to see you ASAP.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure if we were working stabbings and stuff, then we'd be pretty ticked off if people were
Oh,
running
100%,
traffic
yeah.
at the same
Yeah,
time.
and that's why I say it's nothing against the location so much as it is just an issue of staffing and workload. I mean, you can't. I used to do some to make sure I still got to do my proactive stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after.
Yeah, cut the mics and then we'll have that conversation.
So when you went to the alphabet, did they tell you, write down 3 places of where you want to live or work? Was it one of those type deals? No?
Nah, definitely not. It was going to end up being that I went where they wanted me to go kind of thing, you know? So.
Yeah.
That's what I would never.
Yeah, it was, I was, interested in that.
Yeah, when you're interested and you're young, you're like, I'm not married yet, a bunch of kids. Yeah, you can just take off.
different time for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when the wife's like, so we got baseball practice and you're in Somalia, so how is this going to work?
Yeah. How do we get them there today?
Yeah, that's a tough dynamic there.
Yeah. Well, I want to ask you about Carlos. Feel free to jump in.
Carlos?
Nah. Costco, Carlos or something? Does that ring a bell?
I know a few Carloses, but
So he's Costco.
Did you run into a Carlos at Costco?
I think I did run into this Carlos at Costco.
I don't know.
Yeah, what about it? You have to tell us.
I was told to ask.
We were just told to ask.
I would have thought that you came up with that question. I guess probably when I was working. So when I had left, I know the time frame is confusing as heck. When
That's
I left back in 2019, so
I think about there's like a good Ash that wanted to go work for the bad guys, and then there's a rebirth of, a bad Ash, and there's like a rebirth of the good Ash now. So that's my differentiating line.
Okay.
It's like pre-2020, you're a piece of like 2020 forward, you're a good guy.
I can appreciate that. You're probably not too wrong about it. No, I'm just kidding. I think probably with that, I'm so curious who came up with that question. I would have thought it was him. I was working a sales job right after I left because I just needed a job badly,
Right.
and I ended up taking this job. So I started I went to handle the stuff up in the Northeast for about a week and a half, and then came back here and got a job the following week. And I was doing sales out of stores selling phones.
God, I hate
phones,
you guys.
internet. Yeah.
So,
man, I hate
so you
those
were
guys
that guy
too.
that was standing there, and I'm pushing my cart, and you're
I was like, no,
sir,
no.
who's your service with? Who's your service?
Yeah, I was that guy.
Not you.
You know, the good thing about it is becoming a cop. You know, there's a lot of people that don't like us, but I was used to it because I was one of those guys. You know,
right.
They're like the one group of people that's hated more than cops.
Yeah, that's probably true. Dude, I've almost canceled my Sam's membership. I don't know how many times because it's like I don't want T-Mobile.
Yeah.
Like if I wanted T-Mobile, I would just get online and I don't want to talk to people that I don't want. Like I'm grocery shopping. I'm not in a good mood.
Well, if you think about it, selling cable in 2020. So okay, selling cable in 2020 when everyone streams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If anyone's using TV, they're using like a streaming service TV provider.
Right.
And
Unless
the
you're a
pandemic
Rangers
is
fan.
starting, unless you're a Rangers fan, right? Yeah. And the pandemic's starting, literally as we speak, the pandemic is starting. That was like, at least I know I'm a good salesman.
That's true. Yeah.
Because that was probably the
on a
worst.
ventilator, but
Yeah, that was probably the worst possible time to be selling that crap.
yeah, that
so
sucks.
yeah, but I made money, so I guess
Did you get a discount at Costco at least?
no.
So what does that have to do with Carlos?
I ran into him there.
Oh, did you sell him a phone?
No,
The toilet paper.
no.
Yeah,
I think he
I was
was
there stocking up with toilet papers like a resale on eBay.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was buying toilet paper and water bottles like it was Armageddon.
Yeah.
Every day at the store
Dude, it
looked
was-
like Good Friday.
It was so
It
confusing.
was crazy.
It was so confusing when that happened. I was like, I mean, I also want toilet paper. Like, I don't want to not have it.
Right.
But then I was like, why do we need it this much? But then I saw it was all gone, and I was like, I guess I'll go get it too.
Yeah, exactly. Like once
Wait. I think I said in my house, well, hell, if you're going to take a shower, because we don't have toilet paper.
The worst part of it is I don't even know where that started from.
At all.
I'm telling humans,
Some
man.
guy was just like, I would hate to not be able to wipe my right now.
The worst part is it's not even like COVID gave you the shit.
Oh, that would make
like,
sense. Yeah.
Then the pieces line up.
It's like
but-
this disease makes it to where you can't breathe.
Oh man,
Where's the toilet paper?
oh man, we could literally just start something right here, right
Oh,
now.
man.
Just hey, y'all heard about XYZ, and go buy so and so, and it'll just spread like wildfire.
Seriously.
That is true.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was funny. Yeah, we went through a bunch of towels in my house. Just get your head in the shower.
God.
We in line. We on the waiting list to get some toilet paper. I don't
You're
understand.
on the wait list.
Yeah. Oh,
I
man.
got a plug over in Richardson.
Started becoming a lottery system.
Yeah, get
man.
them napkins in there. Just paper towels. I don't.
Hey, you said those newspapers?
Yeah, crinkle it up, ball it up. Oh, it was bad.
Yeah, that was an era. That was an era for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I always feel bad because people talk about COVID being so rough. It's like, man, we had it so good. 'Cause
Yeah,
we
it
had,
wasn't-
we had job security.
Yeah.
True.
And then, yeah, I drank a lot of margaritas.
But it was unwanted job security. Did y'all get the PPE equipment on
No.
patrol?
Well, no, I wasn't in patrol when
Oh,
that was going on.
Oh yeah, 'cause he quit.
Yeah, I was harassing people at Sam's Club.
So,
Oh,
I
man.
think they gave out equipment like to the officers saying you still respond
Oh,
to
yeah.
calls. Wait a minute. If I know you sick, you can stand over there, write it on a piece of paper, put it in the mailbox. I come back and get it.
Yeah, contact
it
by
was-
phone.
Yeah, it was
yeah.
crazy. No. Put
Yeah.
this on, and you still go there and handle.
Like if there's not an emergency going on, then they can make a phone call, and I'll talk to them on the phone. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I just thought about this, though. You talk about selling cell phone stuff at the store.
Yeah.
I thought, like, I hate y'all the most. But actually, I found someone this past weekend that I actually just like.
That you hate more?
Yes.
I'm curious.
The one selling water.
Selling water.
Yeah. Because phone, I'm just like, I already have y'all. And keep walking.
Yeah.
And so I don't have to, like, not have a confrontation, but, like, interact.
Right.
And I was going to get water this last week at Sam's, and I got 4 kids, and they play sports. They drink a lot of water, so I always get, like, 4 of the cases, which if you try to do that during COVID, people looked at you like you were a just piece of crap.
Like you were taking water.
Right.
Out,
It's like,
some
no, like we
hungry
actually
child's
drink
mouth.
this every 2 weeks. But
Yeah.
so I was loading up the water and I was pushing it out, and this lady's like, "Hey, I want to sell you, trying to like a water delivery service." Normally I'd be like, I don't use whatever you have. It was like, no, I don't use. I'm like, now I look at my cart and it's just full of water. And I'm like, just leave me alone. She's like, oh wow. I was like, well, I don't want to talk to you.
You're like supplying the
Yeah.
whole baseball team.
Yeah,
over
now I'm just gonna
there.
freaking walk around the long way next time and get it and go out the backside.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
About does it for us as far as time goes. Always give the opportunity to offer any kind of advice, or if you feel like you have a unique perspective to somebody who might be
Oh man.
thinking about
looking to come
leaving.
Yeah, thinking about
leaving.
yeah.
You were heard about
Somebody-
that.
No, I'm gonna give him a hard time. I told you he stole some of my job, so
Man, I can't think of much to say other than just like I feel like for me, like once I got into this job, I realized how much I loved it.
Mhm.
And so when I looked back, it was like, how did I do anything else? Right?
Right.
It was just like, I can't believe I'm getting paid to do this.
Right.
That's truly how I felt. And, sometimes you get burnt out on patrol, but, for the most part, that is how I feel about the job.
Right.
So I would just say, like, anybody that's listening that thinks they might be interested in it, thinking about they might go take that test, from my experience and, the story I told about that, like, just go take the test, man. Just try it out. If you get hired, if you get into the academy, then you're like, if you're like me, you'll fall in love with it. Because I did. I mean, that's why I came back here to Grand Prairie, because I went through the academy and I was like, man, the culture here is really cool.
Yeah.
So I would just say, if anybody's thinking about like taking the test, or even something else that you're just thinking about and not really sure if you want to do it, just try it out. There's no harm in that. So
It's not the military. It's not a. You're not.
yeah,
signing
you're
a
not
contract.
committed. Yeah, you don't. If it doesn't work out for you, then it doesn't work out. We see guys leave because it's not for them.
Yeah.
Because it's not for everybody. But like if you think that might be you, then yeah, give it a shot.
Yeah, sure.
And then on that note, also we do ride along. So fill out the paperwork. Come sit in the front seat with these men and women and go, yeah, this is a good city.
Yeah.
I like what y'all are doing. So,
Yeah, a ride along is a great way. I took a buddy of mine on a ride along last week.
Yeah.
He's in the military now, and he's thinking about becoming an officer once he gets out. So I took him on a ride along,
Okay.
and he loved it. You know, it's a great way to see what we do. Because before I got into this, I had no idea what cops did. I really didn't. I mean, I had perceptions, but it was not true at all. Like the way the job is in reality is completely different than what I thought, and I think that's probably the case for most people.
Yeah, I would agree.
Well, good. Tell him he has no choice. It's GP all the way.
I'm trying to recruit him, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell, I did a ride along with my brother, and he went to Dallas. So
There you go. You didn't sell him, man.
nah, didn't do
You
a
got.
good
You
job.
got.
I'm not a good salesman. If I
Pitch it
bet
like
your
the
shoes-
water, man. You know. You got.
Yeah, you're gonna do this. All right. Well, I think that about does it.
All right. I appreciate
appreciate
you
it,
guys.
All right,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Until next time.